budget in Parliament, well, at the International ICC, the International Convention Centre in Cape Town. Aldrin Sampear, part of our team tracking that story, and he joins us now live. Aldrin, what a perfect storm it is, isn't it? We're told now, and Iman tells us it's yet to be confirmed, but there are talks that President Cyril Ramaphosa will indeed dial into the delivery of the budget this afternoon. The president sure has a lot on his plate this Wednesday.
Yeah, quite a busy day for the president. I can only imagine if he could be in two places at once, he would certainly do that. But that meeting, of course, with Donald Trump, also a very important meeting that is taking place. But also seemingly, this Budget 3.0 also important for President Cyril Ramaphosa, because remember that he is the leader of the Government of National Unity as a member of the ANC and as the president of the country as well. But the budget will be delivered in his absence, and we're still waiting for that confirmation, of course, if he will be dialing in, as Iman has indicated a bit earlier on. But let's speak to other political parties about what their expectations are ahead of a Budget 3.0. And ActionSA has been quite vocal around Budget 1.0, Budget 2.0, and now Budget 3.0. Athol Trollip is joining us this morning. A very good afternoon, actually, to this afternoon. Your expectations as ActionSA, considering this back and forth that we've had as a country, and also the confidence that it has, for some people at least, it seems as though that they've lacked a bit of confidence that actually government will be able to push this budget through. What's your take as ActionSA currently?
Well, I take it that they are going to push the budget through, that there appears to be unanimity in the GNU, which there hasn't been for the last two efforts. I think for South Africa it's good that we've got to this point now, because previously in Budget 1.0 and 2.0, you had parties in the GNU holding the country to ransom to leverage their own authority and influence in the GNU. They appear to have found themselves now, which is good. Now they must go get ahead and implement their budget, find the money, cut their expenditure. We want to see the size of cabinet reduced. We've got a private members bill coming in there. But we want Enoch Godongwana to do more than just bridge the divide of the 15 billion that is not going to be there from VAT for this year and the following year and the year thereafter. We want him to fund SARS more. SARS has shown that they can collect the most revenue in this country and do it well and even above expectation. We want SARS to be able to go after the illicit economy, where we believe there are politicians and their political parties who benefit from the illicit economy. And we also want to see more funding for the NPA to go and prosecute people guilty of corruption. There's the whole list of Zondo corruption cases and other cases. But we're very pleased that we were able to influence Enoch Godongwana to give SARS more money, because we believe that you can't get blood out of a stone. So this government has learnt that you can't keep squeezing taxpayers, and that they now have to start tightening their belt and leading by example.
Yeah. And just before we go into your expectations for this budget speech, some of the lessons, do you think, what are those lessons that should be drawn from the experience of Budget 1.0, Budget 2.0? Because, of course, you have the Government of National Unity. They still have at least about just over four years into this government, up until the next elections, of course, take place in 2029. What should they be drawing from this experience to ensure that they are able to make sure that people have confidence in government and government's ability to actually deliver on its promises?
Well, first of all, South Africans have now realized that they do have political muscle, that they can reject unacceptable budget proposals. The ANC have also come to realize that they don't have a simple majority in Parliament where they can railroad a budget through Parliament and simply vote for it. Even though they're in a GNU with 70%, they've got this historical situation where it's taken 3 efforts to table a budget and to have it passed. So I think those are big lessons. I don't understand Enoch Godongwana very well, because he made commitments to us when we committed to pass the fiscal framework, and on condition that we find money to bridge the divide. He gave us an assurance that he'd do away with that, but still insisted on going to court to defend the indefensible, and then have the court indicate that they were going to rule against him, and then had a settlement. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he just didn't deal with it 2 or 3 weeks before. I don't know whether it's hubris or ego or whatever it is. But I think they've learned important lessons, that they can't just carry on doing the same thing as they did before. And that's good for South Africans, because now we have a government that's been made to listen.
The MK party says that he must go. Your take on it?
Oh, you know, the MK party wants to bring back Jacob Zuma. That's how ridiculous they are. So I'd really rather carry on suffering Enoch Godongwana than have Jacob Zuma come back.
Does it mean confidence in Enoch Godongwana?
No,
Considering the commitment that was given to ActionSA and what ActionSA communicated to its constituency as well as the nation at large, and then later on, of course, we saw what happened with the court case and what was in the papers.
Yeah, look, I don't think there's much confidence in Enoch Godongwana. He's got egg on his face. His party, the ANC, have got egg on their face with the way they've held this, dealt with this budget impasse. So no, there isn't much confidence in the ANC and their finance minister. But what is good for South Africa is that people are starting to feel that there is change in the political landscape, especially in Parliament. And this budget impasse has actually been a good way to change things around and turn into a new direction. So I think it will yield positive results in the long run.
Operation Vulindlela, quickly.
It hasn't opened any roads as far as we're concerned. You know, even this week there was a white paper on local government reform, which came after Operation, but there's too much fragmentation around how we're going to deal with poor service delivery at local government level. And I think the voters are going to punish the ANC again in the next election, which will be a local government election.
Thank you so much for your time. Athol Trollip there is a member of Parliament for ActionSA. The expectations of the budget speech, which will be delivered at around 2 o'clock later on this afternoon by Enoch Godongwana. But here is also the point, though, Michelle, that has been stressed a bit earlier on. We were in conversation with the MK party, and they are saying that Enoch Godongwana should go. Seemingly, ActionSA doesn't have as much confidence in him as well, considering that commitment that he had given to them around finding an alternative before increasing the VAT on that 0.5% hike. And remember that what happened back in the court papers, where he actually came to defend that particular decision, and later on there was that out of court settlement that they had managed to achieve between the Democratic Alliance, EFF, as well as the Minister of Finance. So I don't know how many people who are listening to these conversations actually would say that they have confidence in our Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana, who will now for the third time attempt to have this budget speech voted on and passed.
Aldrin Sampear, live to us there at the CTICC.